I selected after-school and youth-type programs as my interest lies in how and if these programs develop new literacy skills and address the participation gap. I looked at several programs to see whether or not they tied back to local schools' curriculum, what was the outcome, and the impact of these programs. What I did learn is that after-school and youth programs do develop these skills and help close the participation gap. Many have varying ways of practice, and different agenda and objectives based on funding. Without these programs, participation gap will continue to widen, as schools will have a hard time integrating these skills into the curriculum to make an impact. Those clearly at risk will be greatly impacted if these programs disappear. Here's a piece of history. After-school programs came about during the Progressive Era, about 1880. Educational reformers wanted change, and many of these programs came out of the reform as many believed the educational system was not addressing student needs and were being influenced by the industry. What is interesting, society is doing the same today, pushing to integrate Jenkins' key new literacy skills. After-school and youth programs serve a range and diverse group of youths. However, mostly are at risk. Locations of after-school and youth programs can vary depending on the program's partnerships and sponsors. Here are a few examples of after-school and youth programs. Mouse Squad takes place in a school. It's an extended after-school program. The other two take place in other locations outside of school. They're basically drop-in after-school programs. That's why they're called enriched and intentional youth programs. Both are funded by corporations, nonprofit organizations, and there is some grant money that is awarded to these organizations or to these youth programs. Many of the after-school and youth programs had many elements, practices, and objectives that integrated Green's 3D literacy elements, operational, cultural, and critical, and focused on many of the new literacy skills mentioned by Jenkins, such as play, negotiation, judgment, and appropriation. Extended after-school programs tended to focus on homework and maybe traditional literacies if they had the time. All the programs that I did look at did address opportunities, experience, skills, and knowledge. One in particular, which happens to be an extended after-school program called Mouse Squad, not only did it address the participation gap, but it definitely included Green's 3D literacy elements, as well as Jenkins' new skills such as judgment, multitasking, collective intelligence, networking, negotiating, and several other skills. What I discovered, actually to my surprise, that there were many after-school and youth programs that address new media and digital skills and so much more. However, with a few exceptions, extended after-school programs were still traditional and restricted, whereas the enriched and intentional type after-school and youth programs provided basically flexibility, freedom, interest-driven environment. They tended to be free, they were extensive, and they connected to so many other local resources, such as schools in some cases, museums, libraries, and other organizations. In some cases, they were funded by private, nonprofit organizations and corporations, where the extended after-school programs were typically funded by the government. After-school and youth programs will face many challenges. Many of these challenges are not new. Funding. Money is needed to actually support any of these programs, regardless of the type of programs. Technology needs to be maintained and updated. Staff needs to be trained, as well as you need to find staff. Connecting school day to after-school and youth programs will continue to be an issue, and how you do that. And then lastly, engaging older youth. As youth get older, they become more interested in other activities, and so therefore trying to come up with a way to entice them and engage them in these programs will continue to be a challenge. I have learned that after-school and youth programs play a huge role in developing youth's at-risk new literacy skills and provide youth experience and opportunities not offered in traditional school settings. I have listed several concerns here. One in particular is the movement to extend school days. I feel that if this actually happens, it's just more of the same restricted learning environment, and that the participation gap is going to increase and is also going to see an increase in students dropping out of school. I feel it's very clear that the after-school and youth programs are essential to address the participation gap as well as develop new literacy skills. Students that are at risk need these programs. They don't need more of the same.